there, Theresa here from theresamonro.com, here with your energy update for December 2018. And it's amazing that we're already here at the end of this year, which is the 11 year. And for those of you that don't know what that is, you could possibly Google the numerology for 11 year. So that's what 2018 has been. Essentially, within the past week or so, this has been the last period, I guess is the word that they want to use, for setting your wishes and your tones within the 11 year for going forward in the future. For some of you that have watched the video about the, what did they call it? The harmonic emergence at the end of last year. That we talked about that at the end of the eclipses of August 2017, which were setting us up for higher timelines that had to do with far less suffering. So 2018 has been more moving us into that so that we would be able to, sorry, there's some distractions in the area energetically, but which is an important note. But anyway, I'll get to that in a second. So sometimes there's messages that come through as I'm filming here, but a lot of times they give me the messages a little bit earlier. So anyway, so 2018, a lot of the shifting happening big time between September and right now, essentially, is setting us up more for 2019, and that's going to be a far lighter energy in 2019 that a lot of us are going to be enjoying more. Now, going into like January through to like March of next year, there's going to be further shifts for people that get them into doing more of what they like. But these are going to be changes that you enjoy. These are people showing up that you've been waiting on, and you know, like soul destined kind of situations, people they're supposed to meet, like that help you with your business. Or there's certain things that I know for, you know, my own personal life and other people that I know, that they're like, okay, I can feel that something's about to pop with my business in this one particular area. And for some people, if that wasn't between September and December of 2018, that's between January and February, February of next year, essentially, is what they're mentioning, okay? So for those of you that have been patient and waiting for this video, thank you very much. Something I want to touch base on. Oh yeah, so hang on, two different things. They've got a lot of messages all at once, and I'm like, can we keep up with it? By the way, Mikael, all morning for the time that I've been getting ready to film this, has been here, and so sometimes when that happens, it's like, oh, it's really warm when he's here, and sometimes can feel like a hot flash. But the one thing that he really wants to mention is for those people that have felt possible interference or attempted interference or delays and that sort of thing by other people. Ultimately, what he wants to mention is ultimately anything destined for you and for your path in this particular lifetime. Some people can attempt to slow it down. They may make it uncomfortable in the path getting there, but they cannot keep you from your final destination. So don't focus on those people and just say, listen, whatever's meant for me, I'm going to get there. Because sometimes, like even with the filming of these, there's, you know, there's some people that are not as much enjoying the light who still call themselves light workers, which brings us into a further subject that I'm not really too willing to discuss for, you know, super publicly at the moment, but there's some nefarious stuff happening, and it has been for a large part of this year through people that haven't 100% dedicated themselves to the light and the path of the light, and yet they may be, you know, intentionally being light workers and that sort of thing. But there are some certain individuals, you know, you have to make a declaration of the light at some point in your life. And so possibly at the later part of this month, if not at the early part of 2019, there's something that I'll be launching. So pay attention to the YouTube channel and give it a like and a subscribe if it's something that you might be interested in, where you get to make a declaration that's personal for you to the light. And what happens in those moments is you are always surrounded by the light, because some people say, oh, they're of the light, but I can very much so see how forces that are not of the light are working through them through certain choices that they're making. Now, what is meant by that is there's a huge amount of discernment lessons that have been going on for the past couple of years. A lot of that has come to a head, and part of that is around making decisions that are right for you, who it is you want to be around, saying no to other people you don't want to be around, who's right for you, who can move forward in this, you know, higher dimensional timeline that we're all set up for. And different people are at different levels. Again, if you've got frequency splits and somebody's at a higher frequency than you are, you can tell because it's physically uncomfortable to be around them. It's not a judgment base. It's not hierarchical. It's just a true, you know, when you're, some people just attach a lot of meaning to that, but it's just like if you've got a high note and a low note, that can sometimes, if you've got a flat and a sharp, it can sometimes not sound good. It can be the same way with people's personal frequencies. So if you've got somebody who's of a lower frequency, or if you're of the lower frequency attempting to be around somebody who's the higher frequency, they sometimes are going to tell you, like, listen, this isn't working out. So some people can be an inspiration, but they're not meant to be an energetic crutch. They're reminding me right now to do a little bit of cleanse and shielding with this particular spray. That's one of my sprays of light. Also, they're reminding me, calling in all angels. This is also for you, okay? It's calling all angels is one of the sprays. So, again, ultimately, things that are meant for you, nobody will be able to get in the way of. So there's been some people that have been focusing on things like, oh, this person's in the way and this person's in the way. And I'm just like, are they, though? Because sometimes there's lessons around that, okay? So let's hear, yeah. And interesting, too, because about this being filmed at the perfect time, part of that is because some of the messages were coming through a little bit late, if you will. And so in November, some of you may have noticed that there were some, you know, there were periods of time that required a lot of flexibility and schedule changes. And there was a friend of mine that called and said, oh my gosh, Theresa, there's so many like schedule changes happening right now. It's like sometimes I don't even know what's going to happen until the early part of the day, and even then it could shift an hour later. It's like, and I'm like, I know, it's like some sort of game, but that's part of what's happening with the shifts. Now, it was interesting too, because when you watch some of the shifts happening with the scheduling, and this could have been around work or social things and things like that, it's just like, be as forgiving as you can be if the schedules are continuing to change, because there's still some of that lingering into December of this year. But I swear, for 2 solid weeks, it was like, what's going to happen today? Are we working today? Are we not working today? Like, what's going on? Are we on? Are we not on? Are we meeting? Are we not meeting? Like, but the beautiful thing that I noticed was if, okay, so I'll just say this. There is something that I wanted to do my entire life that is not part of what I normally do for a living, but it's the most exciting thing I've ever done. And I don't know how to put in photos of, how do you say, I don't know how to put in photos in, you know, inside of videos in terms of like the things that I've been up to, but it is a complete blast, like dreams coming true from when I was a little kid of something that I'm getting to do, and it is so, so much fun. Some of those people at that, you know, location of what it is that I'm doing, don't always get along. And so sometimes, like when somebody who's, you know, anchoring in a lot of light, can kind of irritate people that aren't, you know, necessarily 100% dedicated to the light, or who are comfortable, with their stuff. So what I'm trying to say is, with these schedule changes, a lot of people who weren't getting along, or, you know, were suffering by being in each other's presence or irritating each other quite a bit, were separated for a good 2 weeks, and that was fabulous. So it's like, okay, we're still making money, you know, this is, we don't know what's going to happen at the beginning of the day, but, you know, it's things of, we've been given a reprieve from suffering for essentially for 2 weeks. And that's been cool, especially if you just went with it, you know? So if you've got some schedule changes happening still through December, and some people are saying, oh, that's a Mercury retrograde thing. It wasn't, it's a timeline shifting thing is what's happening. It just so happened to have been during Mercury retrograde, where that energy was supporting some of the changes in schedules and being removed from people that didn't bring us you know, joy, that, you know, it was something that even though it required a lot of flexibility, it ended some conflict. And you're like, okay, this is a kind of like vacation, you know, where it was like, you could feel the energy just calm down and slow down, and was pretty interesting because you didn't have to be around things that you didn't like quite so much. There was a large portion of the population that was like that. So, but I'll tell you, those who fought it didn't like it at all. But it's like, again, they have this allowance spray. If you're somebody who struggles with, you know, surrendering to, you know, the greater divine and that sort of thing, there's a spray for that that really assists with that, okay? They have the most perfect timing. It's so cool. So I have an extra spray here that I grabbed that I hadn't sprayed yet. They had me spray, let me see, 2 out of the 4. And Mikael's here, so it's a little bit warm. I'm sorry if I move my hair around, it's because I don't like the heat on the back of my neck. So there's a lot of blessings coming in right now. And through the end of the month, but really you're seeing it through like the 2nd and 3rd week of December. Lots of blessings. And by the way, I sell angel blessings if that's something that you'd like. They're you could check those out. They're only available through, you know, the end of the holidays here. But we have Making Room for Miracles. So we're going to spray all of us with Making Room for Miracles because all of those blessings are coming in. And another spray is for joy. Now this is the spray of light for the month. And that's something that they want to help support you with. And you can purchase that one. It's on special during the 12 days of Christmas and 12 deals over 12 days. If you're on my Instagram stories, be sure to check that out. Also, for a different kind of light work that I'm doing, check out the Kawaii Light vehicle with periods in between, or dots in between, on Instagram as well, and you can check out something totally different here on Kauai for a different kind of light work, okay? Now, we have new beginnings galore happening, and that's exciting. So just, if you can just practice being in a place of excitement about what's to come, it's going to come faster, and it's all really wonderful things and gifts that you've worked so hard to achieve in multiple areas of your life, okay? So, this is also a time for taking direct, decisive action. There is a portal that's open now for delivering these blessings, and I'm telling you, these doors may not open again. I don't want to, you know, be fearful or, you know, scare you, because I can sense a few of you are like, oh no, your discernment has gotten good enough to say, like, okay, how does this decision feel? It's quick, you know, it's fast moving. They're showing me the Chariot card right now. But say yes if it feels right in your body. If you're not sure about it, consult an intuitive on the fly, you know, about like, this feels great, but there's this over here. Communicate what your concerns are, and I'm telling you, those things that have been obstacles before will not be, where you're just like, I'd really like to go on this trip, but I'm not sure, like, you know, I've been invited to do this great thing, but I need to work to pay these bills. I'm telling you, the person that may be inviting you is somebody that's like, let me cover your bills for the 2 weeks, just get over here. You know what I'm saying? That sort of thing is the sort of thing that they're stating, like, there are no obstacles at this point to what it is that you want. Now, some of you have been playing the waiting game, and for some of that, it's kept bringing up some emotions. And again, they want me to say, like, pay attention to something. If, you know, about go back to basics around your manifestation abilities. If you're feeling resistance to something in terms of like a lower vibration around wanting something, what I'm going to recommend is a quick fix for that is to go out and hang out with your friends and do fun things. I'm telling you, this other project that I'm on that I can't really talk too much about is the most exciting thing I've ever done. I don't care that I'm working at 14 hours a day because I'm loving what I'm doing. I come home, I'm exhausted, my knees hurt, but I don't care. Because I'm just like, you know, it's interesting. It's also interesting watching yourself and your body going, yeah, there's certain things I have to take better care of because, you know, the body changes when you haven't been as, you know, physically active doing things. So at some point I may tell you what I'm doing, but it's a lot of fun. But the recommendation is go and do something fun that brings you a lot of joy and hang out with the people that make you laugh. And if you don't have that, get the joy spray. Okay? Because that is the spray. I recommend in all of my energy updates, at least one that will assist you. Okay? Also with the direct decisive action, you may find at times that the road gets wonky. And what they're showing me is a metaphor of something where we're doing like in this project of mine, and sometimes the roads here are really crazy and crazy steep, and I'm looking at them going, oh, are we gonna get, you know, like I'm like, are we gonna get, like, is this safe? And I'm just trusting the guy that's been doing this that I'm driving with, you know, for 30 years. So anyway, so it's just, it's a funny metaphor. They like to laugh. They're like, yeah, you remember some of those roads that were crazy and you feel like a roller coaster and you're not sure if you're going to get this 2-ton truck out? Yeah. Anyway, it's a blast. So also, you're finally finding that there is luck where you didn't find luck before. You now have it, okay? Some of you are already feeling this, and thanks again for your patience as this is coming out, okay? Also, we need to get into women and celebrating other women. If you want a service project that you can give back, 2 things they mention. Find a woman who's doing something that you really, really love. It's either something that you want to do or something that you're like, right on, she's doing something awesome. Go and thank her. If it's something you want to do, say, hey, I've always wanted to do this. You're doing something really cool. Would you mind teaching me some of this? Because you've got 2 choices. You can operate out of fear and do like competitive, and I'm not talking sports competitive. I'm talking like lack mentality. She's doing this, so she can't do that, that kind of stuff. People who steal like other people's ideas, that kind of thing. Or you're choosing to support physical connection. You guys are funny. They're making jokes about intimacy and physical connection. Some of you may be having some of that, but you're choosing like emotional connections as well, relationship connections, supporting others. So if you come across an Instagram account or a number of Instagram accounts or channels and you're like, wow, go leave a nice comment. Even just smiling at somebody, anybody, this is the second thing. Just smile at somebody. You may not realize just how your little smile may brighten everybody's day. They may not even say anything to you about it, and that may not even have to be your expectation, but just smile at somebody, say something kind. If it's the holidays and you're around people that are having a difficult time, find something that you like about each of your family members and tell them, hey, I really, you know, it's, even if it's Christmas and you're sitting down at dinner and there's a dinner party beforehand is what they're showing me, even Christmas parties at work, go around the different people, and even if you just think it, it will affect your relationship with them in a positive manner. But even if it's somebody that you love, like Pipeline's happening right now, and you're like, oh, this is something I really love, you can think and say like, wow, you do that so well, I just love that. People can feel that. But my main thing is if you're at a physical party and you're seeing people, say, hey, I really like this about you, either personally, or if you feel like that's too much, say, I love your earrings or that ring you wear. I want you to know I've always loved that. I think it's so pretty. There may be some story there. You may be able to really connect on a level that you hadn't before, but this is particularly pertaining to those that are around family that they find it difficult to be around. Say something that you love about them, if you can. And if you can't, that's okay. But it's important to just accept them for who they are, even if there's somebody that's always going to be triggering you. And if they do, find a way that you spend time with somebody that's across the room. You know what I mean? And then also, you know, this is a little bit different from knowing when to create boundaries, or, you know, perhaps it's related as well, for when you know to create boundaries around certain individuals. We've gone through most of the breakups that are happening for 2018. Most of that has been complete. We've got a lot of new relationships starting, which is really fabulous. Right now you're seeing, you know, a lot of things around new business opportunities and things, and you're going to see this energy continue into 2019. 2019 is going to be a way more fun energy. It's a lot more laughter is what they're showing me. It's like, also, this is something else. Thank you for reminding me, because they told me this earlier and I had forgotten, because when the rays of light come in, sometimes you get a little, you know, energetically high, and it's like, whew, can I remember that? And did I just forget? And then we just forgot again. Okay, we're going to come back to that. What were they stating? Yes, so they said at the beginning of the year, it felt like hodgepodge, like quicksand for certain people, because things just weren't moving. Started to speed up a little bit in July, a little bit. For some people, other areas were slowing down. But definitely right now, and some of you have been seeing this since right around my birthday in mid-October, you saw things really start to speed up, okay? December is still time where it's crazy scheduled because we're so busy. And that's okay. For some of us, it's like, woohoo, this is fun being really busy. So even though you're tired and you're happy and you're enjoying what you're doing, or you're tweaking little areas. Also, they're mentioning people are learning how to maneuver around how to deal with people in a people are stronger essentially in dealing with people in a cordial manner, or how to manage being around people that are sometimes difficult to be around. Okay, so when you go to be with your family members during this holiday season, you may find that it's a little bit easier to deal with. You may not believe me, just bring yourself some joy spray. Doesn't mean you need to be spraying other people with it, but you definitely can be spraying yourself. Okay. They also make great stocking stuffers. By the way, if you're looking for stocking stuffer ideas, check out my website for the list for the 12 days of Christmas, or the list of stocking stuffers. It'll be on my blog or in my Instagram. But let's see. Oh, we have certain people that are really starting to become honest with themselves about some stuff. Some of this you started to see earlier in the year, became louder in like July timeframe, really loud in like August, October, and now it's like doom, 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 doom in your ear about it. So, again, this goes back to ending relationships or forging new relationships when we were seeing things more clearly around people that are supporting us and people that aren't, okay? And it's okay, it's not a judgment thing, it's just about whether or not somebody can or whether or not somebody can't do that any longer. And so it's fun because there's a lot of new fun beginnings right now. So let's see. They want to mention to you that you really do have the power to heal anything. A large part of this is just focusing on where it is you want to go, what it is you want to be, and how you can get there. And the process of getting there will naturally heal anything that you feel like might be a hindrance, okay? Also, trust and know like that God, your soul, source, Father, Mother, God, everything, all the beings of light are always guiding you 100%. So you don't have to go through personal transformation with any level of force. It's like you can take a much more relaxed approach to that now, and I feel like many people are starting to do that. Also, back to discernment, it's like there's been certain agendas to, that are dressing up like the light, they wear the clothes, they act a certain way, but have been doing some pretty serious damage in terms of, spiritual development. But again, for those that go to the fear place about that, you will naturally be able to discern now what feels right and what doesn't, and coming back to truth and being like, okay, so a certain label about a certain person isn't working for me anymore. Let's get back to basics about how to go back to that. Or I've noticed I don't always feel good listening or watching this particular person over there because they keep us in a certain hamster wheel. And that's very much so an agenda on a lot of different levels. So there's going to be an overhaul, and currently there is, of bringing that back to the light, because you've got a change of the guard of Piscean age type healers and Aquarian age type healers. But that's, yeah, you guys are going to know naturally whether or not if it feels not so great to work with someone, don't work with them. If somebody feels very right, pay attention to that. If you worked with somebody but the truth pissed you off and then you're coming right back around to it, that's something to pay attention to. But also, that person you went to may not want to work with the type of client that isn't ready for truth. You may, so there's ways to discern who's the right person for you as well. And in 2019, we'll be getting more into more attunements with the masters as well, with the different attunements with the rays of light, because it'll be a little bit lighter energy, and we're into doing some of the new stuff, okay? But again, when it comes to change, you got to be willing to let go of the thing that isn't allowing you to move forward. And I feel like many people have already done that this year, okay? Moving. and shifts in your duty station. I got two things to say here, and this is going to resonate with you, or, you know, you'll see which one resonates. And for some people, they're stating it's true for both. There's a major shift happening between now. It's the, you know, the benefits time coming right now. And I'm not talking, well, I mean, they're mentioning there's certain benefits from people's work, but really like the blessings coming through and breakthroughs, and some of you are coming into some money, and some of you are coming into relationships and things like that, particularly if there's just a certain group that are being provided that. It just depends on the area based on the kind of work that you've really been doing. But certain people are changing their duty station, meaning the kind of work or where they're meant to be on the planet is shifting. And for some people it'll be a certain home base that's new, or 2 home bases, and then traveling a lot in between. There's certain people that are going to be moving to other places in the world. They don't want me to necessarily mention where, because there's certain people that'll make that decision out of like an ego that isn't really meant for them to go and be there, but you're going to notice it around certain bodies of water. Which will be a lot of fun. So if some of you are thinking of certain beaches, it's like, yeah, the universe is going to deliver a way for you to get to those new locations, and that'll be a lot of fun. For others of you, you're going to find that if you haven't enjoyed where you're living and haven't felt it's 100% copacetic with you, either you're going to be shifting the area, or there's somebody coming in to assist you with, somehow your duty is going to be changing, okay, in terms of, like, you may be on a different island, or you may be, you know, having somebody coming in and supporting you financially, so you're not like suffering financially in the area where you're at, or you're going to be dealing with a different client base, or sometimes it's just the part of the island you're living on is possibly, you know, inundated with, you know, like drug addicts, or however. It's like, I'll tell you, on this particular island I'm living on, I've met 2 people that don't do drugs. 2. And I've been here for a while, so it's like drugs are very rampant here. So some people think on the mainland, oh, that's for a different part of town. But I will tell you, there are certain parts of the nation where partaking in plant-based medicines in an abusive fashion, even calling it in the name of therapy or for spiritual experiences. But by the way, that's all going to die out in the next, you know, 1.5 to 2 years anyway, and where people stop experiencing that, and you're going to see another big shift in the collective consciousness from going from things that are outside of them for spiritual experiences to feeling like, okay, we're ready for something internally, because you'll notice that some of those plant-based medicines aren't going to be curing things. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be using them or should be using them in any kind of way, but some people are going to be noticing that their body isn't able to tolerate some of the plant medicines anymore because their frequency's gotten, you know, too high for it, or for another reason that it's just not meant for them and they're meant to go more internally. Okay. So I think that's pretty much it. There's going to be a new video coming out about 2019 and the energies coming in. It'll be fun because it's like the age of 19 going on 20. In the States, that's kind of a big deal. You're coming out of your teenage years, coming into your 20s. You know, there's kind of like a maturity that we're coming into, and that'll be fun to do that video for you guys and to discuss that. There's a new leveling up, like a new graduation, a lot more happy people on the planet, but also certain things that are still coming up that are worthy of being, you know, taking a certain look at, essentially. But again, I'm here if you need me, if you'd like some spiritual support. There's 30 days of light. There's now 24 hours of light if you just want a day of that, to see what that is like, the sprays of light, all kinds of ways to be able to support you. Thank you for watching this video, and if you would, give it a like, thumbs up, and comment below if this is something you can relate to. Okay? So happy end of 2018. Lots of love. Bye.